What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday. Hope all is well. We have hopefully, I'm not seeing a camera from him, but we have somebody that I have been eager to get back on for quite some time. I checked earlier today, and I can't believe it's been a little over a year since Michael was last on the channel. Let's try to bring on Michael Keene.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. We cannot see you.
Yeah, I'm having technical difficulties, which is not a surprise for anyone who's ever watched my show.
It could be worse. At least we can hear you.
Yeah, it could be, but I put on a ghost shirt and I'm like looking pretty sick, I guess, and I look like I have my shit. I got these shelves up, fucking shelves.
Nice.
And nothing.
We'll give it some time.
What's happening? Right? Where am I on? What's going on?
I'm gonna say hi to everybody while you figure that out.
Yeah, do that. I'll be just you do your fucking you be young, beautiful, all that shit. I'll just don't mind me.
I'll work on those. I need some help. Ragnar's here. What's going on? Bren, hello. The two John Milan films from Indicator and Srigala from TerraVision. Yeah, it's pretty good month from them. Stan, what's going on? Cam, movie Palace of Blood. Let's make this a real drinking game, except I wouldn't want to kill you. Take a shot every time I say incredible, amazing, or genuinely. I apologize in advance for the liver damage. Dave, what is going on, my friend? Dustin's here. Hello. Anthony, Daniel is here. And Griff, hello. One more week till Vinegar Syndrome, halfway to Black Friday sale. We're going to talk about that actually in just a minute because I got something special to talk about. Sulako88, what's going on, my friend? Griff, anyone else hit up that Scream 4K sale? They got a couple really good prices, that's for sure. Not always, but this time it's decent. Yeah. Terry says, two of my favorite folks on one live stream. Great way to spend a Thursday night. Hopefully we can see Michael's beautiful face scene.
I'm working on it.
John Peters says, Keene is here. Let's sleaze it up tonight. You know we will. Paul, what's going on, my friend? Sardis is here. Hello. Silent Mandible is back. Jim Powers here for the free sleaze. Oh, it's not free tonight, my friend. We got to charge. I'm sorry. KM5150. Hey, Migo, thank you for the shout out. Much love, brother. Stan, I already said hello. Barry the Tick. Barry the Tick. What's going on? Wow, Barry the Hick. The heat got to Keene's camera. It is not. I mean, that's very possible. Vegas is really hot. I do not miss living out there.
It's so fucking hot in this office. Oh my god. I'm sweating my fucking dick off.
What's going on, Brent? Lots of people here tonight. What's going on, Tom? Ordered a few Imprint titles. Nice, actually. That is a great way to segue into recent pickups since Michael's not on yet. Imprint set in their newest titles for review, so let's go over these real quick. First is this Tales of Adventure. They're calling this Collection 1. There's some movement maybe on Michael's side.
1 second. Oh, God.
This one has Arabian Nights from 1942, The Desert Hawk from 1950, Zarek from 1956, 1001 Nights from 1945, and Omar Khayyam from 1957. And the greatest thing about these box sets is they are loaded. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff in here. Audio commentary from Michael Schlesinger and C. Courtney Joyner on Arabian Nights. We got an intro by Robert Osborne. Kim Newman speaks on the film. There is a Frank Skinner at Universal featurette with Preston Neal Jones. Let's see. We got an audio commentary by Pfeff Sutton and Mark Jordan Legan. Audio commentary by Jonathan Rigby and Kevin Lyons on The Desert Hawk. And then Man in the Shadows, Jeff Chandler at Universal featurette. Let's see. I think, the Omar Khayyams, we got an audio commentary by Philippa Berry and then film historian Sheldon Hall on the film as well. Lots of cool stuff in here. And then the art, as usual on these box sets, really great. When you open it up, we've got the original art on the films in the same standard cases. And, I mean, this looks great. This looks like a really nice month for Imprint. And with what they just recently announced, it's going to be a great year for them. I mean, they got a month full of box sets. Stoked on that. Next one, they put in the Essential Film Noir Collection number 4. This one has 5 films on 4 discs. We got Rope of Sand, Appointment with Danger, The Enforcer, Beware My Lovely, and Jennifer. And this one, we got Sam Deegan on Rope of Sand doing a commentary. We got Jose Arroyo on Rope of Sand. On Appointment with Danger, we got a commentary by Jason A. Ney. And then some featurettes, Hollywood Everyman, the films of Lewis Allen, and film noir specialist Frank Krutnick on Appointment with Danger. Nice. There's a radio adaptation on that one as well. And then on The Enforcer, we got Alan K. Rode doing a commentary. Film noir specialist Frank Krutnick on The Enforcer. And then on Beware My Lovely, we got Pamela Hutchinson on Ida Lupino with an audio commentary by Jason A. Ney. Lots of stuff in here. Again, we got the original art on these, all single cases. These ones are 4 discs, so one of the discs has 2 films on it. Box sets are killing it for Imprint lately. And then finally, the film that has gotten, I think, 4 or 5 releases this year, The Haunting of Julia. This is the only one with the lenticular case, and this one comes with the CD soundtrack as well. And actually, kind of rare for Imprint lately. It's got a nice booklet as well. And as you'll see, kind of thick font on here, so it takes up a lot of space. Not a ton of writing, but it's still nice to see a film like this get a booklet.
Oh, son.
How we doing, Keene?
I'm gonna fucking blow my brains out.
So it's a normal day over there?
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with it. I honestly, something might have overheated. It's just completely fucking not working. It's weird.
Dead Sea Life says nice shelves.
Hey, look at those fucking shelves. Oh, you got them LEDs over there. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, Papa, oh, Papa.
Tony from the Imprint cast is here. Hope everybody checked out the video with Tony and his co-host John that was put up this week. Bill Ackerman, my friend. Hello, what's going on? Nice to have you here. Mizzy is here. Oh, Stan, $40 lobby cards are not getting yet another shout out tonight. Let's see. John says he's glad Michael's here because somebody else loves Jess Franco finally.
Yeah, baby.
All right,
Casey,
what's going on? I'm gonna leave for 2 seconds.
Okay. All right, let's go through the rest of these real quick. Sardis wants that box set. Too much good stuff coming out. Amen to that. Yeah, it's been crazy. Take the tape off your webcam, Mike. Christian's Hobby Blog. What's going on? Garrett. Hello. Well, oh, hey. Oh,
yeah, jeez. Oh, why can't it? Why won't it do the thing? Why won't it do the fucking what? It's not locked up. What the shit is this? Come on. Why? Okay.
Does it only go one way? Can it flip?
You know, I figured. Oh nope. I don't understand why life is so hard. Why is it so hard? You'd think it would just be. You just do that. You just do that. But no.
Brian just watched Rango. Nice. We were talking about animation all day. Brian Sowers here. What's going on, my friend? I've been meaning to message you for the last couple of months. I need to reach out. Maybe we can have audio commentary by Michael. That would be swell.
Okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna look like shit. That's it. That's the long and short of it. I can't do this anymore. Ay. Sorry. I'm bad at this. I'm bad at.
But at least you're beautiful. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Just you know,
losing your mind.
Yeah, just losing my mind. I put up some new shelves. See them because it's dark as shit. But I got these new shelves over here. I got my fucking Jungle Blue poster over there. Really, trying to sleaze it up a bit.
Got everything alphabetized, or how are we organizing now?
It's still labels. Just because.
Same.
I need to start, cinching it down a little bit because it's a lot of movies. It's too many movies. It's too many. Like, at some point, you got to look at your life and go, one day this is all going to be ash and dust, and what's the point? And so we just got, you got to get rid of you know, some of those Arrow releases that are streaming on every fucking service for free, and you got to like, you know, that one Vinegar Syndrome release that you've watched once and then you just want to fucking kill yourself, like Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death. Yeah, you gotta stop. You gotta get that addiction under fucking control.
Well, speaking of death, I think the last time you were here was during the Indiegogo for Dr. Deathface.
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
I'm actually tomorrow. I'm Jesus. I'm shooting a very tiny pickup shot because we need some gore, some added gore at one point.
Always.
So I'm doing a little baby pickup. If my $7 and up patrons, you know who you are. Also, my wife suggested I switch to my phone, and so it's her idea.
Thank you, Casey.
But they've seen me edit a little bit. I'm probably gonna be editing a bit tomorrow, evening, whatever. Once I have all that done. But the edit's coming along. It's just slow because life. I'm a perpetually poor person, so I'm just like scrambling all the time. So it's running a little late, but I mean, we have a distributor. We have you know, everything pretty much done. It's just I'm editing. Music is getting composed. Those are really the only two things that are stopping it from being done, to be honest.
Nice.
You know, unfortunately, it's me editing and Roger, who is also perpetually busy and has two jobs composing. So it's just, but, you know, it's good. Everybody who's watched it so far likes it. I, being me, wish I could redo the entire thing, but that's to be expected.
Christian's Hobby Blog says he loves your ghost shirt. And my friend Brian says we love the Keene.
Aw.
Let's see the other thing to ask. I mean, I know you've been cutting back on everything. Any recent pickups that have excited you quite a bit, other than Vinegar Syndrome that you seem to be making good videos for lately?
Yeah, waiting on that email there. I picked up the Texas Chainsaw and Martin releases, the 4K releases from Second Sight. Those are rad. I actually have not really been able to delve into the Martin one yet, but I watched a little bit of Texas Chainsaw's 4K restoration. Not sure you could really do much more there. It looks great. You know, it's grainy as shit. That's what I need. Let's see. Beyond that, I don't really know there's much else that I really give a fuck about that's hit the shelves recently. TBH. I would say the Highlander 4K, if it had ever come to me, not randomly fucking canceled by certain fuckhead companies that happen to own Arrow now.
Yay. Yeah, that's been an interesting saga, and another interesting one has been Vinegar Syndrome over the last couple of years. It seemed like last year was a little bit of a letdown for some people. How do you feel this year? It seems like they've rebounded for some people quite a bit.
I mean, I think that so far, I mean, I liked last year, first of all. So that
I did as well.
I'm already not really in the same boat as a lot of these people. I'm also not terribly, I don't give a shit about a lot of things. And every day I give less of a shit about everything. So I don't complain too much. I think that so far this year, I'm just looking at their page because I'm like, what the fuck? What it separates this year from last year? What was the last thing last year? Fuck, it was
November. They had Burning Paradise. They had that was the big one to me. We got Roadhouse.
Was Roadhouse last year?
Yeah, Roadhouse was Black Friday, and Freeway, that was Black Friday as well.
Okay, and Beast in Space.
I feel like that was this year. In fact, I think that was February for the adult sale.
Okay, yeah. So I mean,
I might be wrong in the timeline.
I think that VSL is a fun addition. I find the need to create a new sub label that people have to pay more for a little, but I think that was really cool. Like Flesh and Fantasy opened me up to a whole new director. So I mean, and it's fucking rad as shit. So things like that were awesome. I haven't
been able to watch as much as I would like recently, but luckily I have to watch some of these. From Beyond 4K. I had a mostly good time making the doc on that one, even though it's hard to work with MGM stuff. But so that was cool. And that's a solid 4K. Frostbiter is fucking really, really great. There is some sound stuff. There's a great story behind it if you've watched the special features on Frostbiter, but there's this one thing with the sound that's really fucking annoying but kind of funny at the same time. Let's see, Undeclared War.
That was a big one.
A first act that just fucks right off the top and just never stops. Ringo Lam's like, oh, look at this baby. Fuck this baby. Curse of the Lights I really like. I know people have been iffy on that one. Freeway 2, of course. Primal Rage, one of the best goddamn movies of all time. Primal Rage. On 4K with a pretty snazzy doc on there. Pretty well done on that front. And yeah, I mean, some good pornos. Not a lot so far. I would like more porn.
Yeah, they slowed down quite a bit there.
Yeah. That's my one. I think my biggest with Vinegar Syndrome is the lack of pornographic titles as they continue to get bigger and bigger. They do that thing that you kind of expect a company to do, which is you start off with that nice kernel of smut, and then we're getting more popular. We gotta just get rid of that. We can do the popular smut like Showgirls. That's allowed. Not this smut. This smut, maybe they got to pay extra for that. We'll just set it aside a little bit. That bugs me. But at the same time, we've got Roadhouse, we've got Showgirls on 4K, which not the most exciting thing in the world, but good for the company and minus some questionable artwork on certain yet to be released discs. Pretty cool. And I don't know that I need Showgirls again because I have the I think Umbrella did a release.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. So I have the Umbrella release. I mean, it's Paul Verhoeven. I love Paul Verhoeven. So he directed the greatest film of all time, RoboCop. So I can't really say no to that, even if it looks like garbage.
Ken says Primal Rage is a top 5 4K of this year so far.
That's it's fucking great. It's a great movie, great song.
Brian from Just the Disc wants to know: do you have any thoughts on the upcoming VSL set? Did you get to work on that? Probably not.
No, I did not. Wait, you mean like the? What's the?
They are teasing a 4-film VSL set that's getting announced next week.
Okay, I'm not keeping up as much as I should for a guy who has a new show. I did not work on that. I haven't worked on anything in a while. I haven't worked on anything since. Not that this really means anything, because I mean, one of the first projects I worked on was Devonsville, and that just came out. But
right,
I only have one thing yet to come out. What is it? My wife is just looking in the room like a fucking asshole. What's going on? Oh, you want a vape pen because? Oh, wait, let me just get ahead of him.
You're gonna get him fired from YouTube.
God no. That's not what got Keene canceled the first time.
I should probably charge my phone while I'm doing this. Oh my god.
I'm not sure what this 4-film box set's going to be either. Following the pattern of what they've released so far, I would almost see it being something foreign from probably the 40s or 50s. I don't know anything about that, but just guessing that if they're going to get something like this, they probably got it in some sort of licensing package, and that's why it's coming out as a box set.
Oh, cool. Okay. Nope. Great. I don't know why it's locked. It doesn't need to be locked. And it doesn't say it's locked, but it's locked. Oh, what the fuck?
What's going on, Magic Hands? All right. Let's get into some actual announcements if we're ready.
All right.
Hey, first one we're going to talk about this week is a little film called Carlito's Way. This is coming as a 4K media book in Germany from Play On. Carlito's Way. What do you think about Carlito's Way?
I mean, it's a great film. Have we gotten a 4K of Carlito's Way before? I feel like I've seen.
Yeah, we did. The shitty thing about Play On, and I'm sure you probably haven't paid too much attention to this, but they released a Bava film, I think it was, in 4K like 2.5 months ago. Turns out they region locked their 4K.
Oh,
And
I did hear
4K
about.
is supposed to be region free.
Yeah, I did hear about the region locking. I didn't realize that was the company. Well, that's fucking stupid. I don't like that.
And now I think we're at like 6 or 7 4Ks that have ever been region locked.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I haven't purchased one of those four, so I don't know how this would work. But I don't even know if my region-free Blu-ray player has the settings to unlock a 4K disc.
It should. If it plays region B, it should work on there.
Okay. It's so. Oh, I guess it would just changes. That makes sense. I'm being stupid. I'm a fucking moron. You saw me. I just did pot.
We'll let that one go then. Let's go to some more from Germany. They're releasing High Tension in a 4K media book. This is coming on August 23rd, again from Play On, and we got 3 different cover options here. Kind of odd art choices for this film, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I like the first one, all right, and of course, the last one is that old school poster. But I mean, this is another one of those. This has been released how many fucking times now?
Yeah, and the rumor is Second Sight is going to release this one later this year as well.
Okay, then yeah, I mean, like, fuck it, who gives a shit? Like, if Second Sight's going to do it,
yeah, and it's
going to be better by like 10 times, 10 whole times better.
Well, and to make it even worse, this release is most likely not even English friendly. They don't list English subs, and it's got, of course, because it's not an English language to begin with, you are screwed unless you speak French or German. And then finally, this one, of course, is in English, but we are getting a media book of Deadstream from Play On. This is on August 23rd. I like this one because we didn't get a Blu-ray of this in the States.
Yeah, this one does. I mean, I'm not going to buy it because I'm a piece of shit, but I love Deadstream. Deadstream was a lot of fun. One of the more, like, kind of like a perfect mix of not having any money and knowing what to do with it. And legitimately fun and funny, unless you hate the character, in which case it's a fucking chore, I assume. But yeah, that's cool. That's good. I mean, I assume this means another company will probably release it. But
yeah, unless there's something weird with the rights, I'm not sure on that. But I think this is one of the better recent examples of having a lead that is extremely unlikable, but they pulled it off as just a really great film.
I specifically only have leads that are unlikable.
The other example that I pull up, a lot of people seem to hate the movie Dashcam because the lead was unlikable, but it takes some nuance to pull that off sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one. I think this is the last German release for a while we're going to talk about. August 9th, we are getting Falling Down in just a regular old Blu-ray media book. We've got 2 different covers on this one, but I'm kind of surprised we're not getting a 4K instead of a Blu-ray, just another release of this one. But this is the first time it's been released on Blu-ray in Germany. Ever.
Huh.
So it kind of makes sense. All right, let's get to the interesting stuff.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Ooh, baby.
Coming on August 23rd from Via Vision in Australia is the Prophecy Collection. This one is interesting because it will likely have subtitles, and I don't think the US releases that came out in that shitty, not really box set, but the compilation, didn't have any subtitles. This one's got new features, no information on new scans or anything like that, but Via Vision doesn't always share that, and I wish they would.
Yeah, I mean, I could give a shit about the quality, video quality. I like, because the Prophecy is like, and I think this might just be a me thing, it's like the quintessential 90s franchise.
Oh, extremely, yeah. I mean, I think 3 of these are direct to video, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It almost immediately just straight to video. And Christopher Walken, bless him, kept going for all the first 3, I think.
I think so.
And just chewing that scenery. You got Viggo Mortensen as the devil. I mean, come on, it's so good. It's such a great concept. It's like it should be like Highlander. It should have its own television show that goes on for a few too many seasons, and a very tenuous but like kind of random connection to the film series. It should get like its own The Source, which I've heard that last one might have been its own The Source, but I mean, nothing's quite The Source, if you know what I'm saying. I love the prophecy. So I actually will probably, I don't buy a lot right now, but I will probably pick this up at some point because
I love that they commissioned somebody to make a new commentary for all 4 of these films.
Yeah, that poor. Does it say who it is?
Yeah, Brian Reisman and Max Every.
Are they on all of them?
Literally the first 3, and then well, I guess the 4th one may not be new. It just says audio commentary with a writer-director Joel Swisson, actresses Carrie Wurr, Georgina Rylance, makeup effects supervisor Gary Tunnicliffe, and production executive Nick Phillips.
Gary Tunnicliffe, a lot of talent, not a lot of great movies. I mean, I guess that's all you could really get to a commentary for that movie.
Yeah, and then he did the 5th one as well. All right. I mean, that's pretty decent. You got a commentary on all 5. That's kind of rare.
I like my commentaries.
Well, let's talk about Cauldron. They got their next wave of announcements. First off, I love the artwork on this. This is great. This is the Ruggero Deodato film Off Balance that they're calling this.
Yeah, Phantom of Death is a much better title for that. I don't understand.
I wanted to get Jesse on here to ask why we went with the title Off Balance. I don't know.
Yeah, but the movie itself is really good. Like I think this one's can come with a strong recommendation right off the bat.
We got Michael York, Edwidge Fennick, Donald Pleasance, and then the big thing that stood out to me, this has what is right now known as the final interview with Ruggero Deodato before he passed from last July. So this is a pretty cool looking package. And I've not been able to see this one yet. I've been waiting on this release because we've known about this one for a little bit. And yeah, this looks really great. Second one from them, Top Line. This is from 1988. And first off, I love how many people are complaining about this cover art.
Wait, people are complaining about it?
As you, well, it's on your phone, so I'll zoom in for you. Somebody commented here, seriously hope they didn't pay for that artwork.
Let me see the name. It's Sherbert Dab 75. Sherbert Dab 75, you have fucking horrible taste. Just to let you know that right now. You have fucking terrible taste. You objectively have terrible taste.
I responded and said they absolutely did. It's by a legendary artist. Read above for who did it and why they're legendary. And somebody said, love when people have to always make things negative. Yeah, this is one that a lot of people are for, some people are against, and it made Keene leave. And so this one says, down and out author Ted Angelo, played by the Franco Nero, finds a UFO while searching a cave for treasure, a UFO. When he tries to warn the media, let me add Keene back in and remove this Keene.
That was weird. Sorry.
That was
very sent me to the desktop version on my phone for some reason. I don't know.
Awkward.
Such awful
this one says,
taste. Got me.
When he tries to warn the media, he soon becomes hunted by various clandestine organizations, but with the help of his new friend, June, they search for the truth while evading certain death. Have the aliens taken over the world? I want to believe. We got a new 2K restoration from the negative on this, and then all kinds of extras. An interview with Franco Nero, which is awesome. We got an interview with Eugenio Ercolani, who is one of the producers from Italy that has been helping with a lot of these. I believe he even did the Ruggero Deodato interview on that last disc. We got the Alien Theories of Top Line by parapolitics researcher Robert Skvarla. An in-depth commentary by film historian Eric Zaldivar, including audio interviews from cast members Deborah Moore and Robert Redcross, with additional insight on Italian cult films with actors Brett Halsey and Richard Harrison. You got a limited booklet, a limited double-sided poster, which the fact that we are getting this artwork is incredible. I hope that's on that poster. And yeah, Top Line looks rad. Have you seen this one?
No, I started watching it, but the copy I was watching was a VHS rip, and it was not great.
Yeah.
So I stopped.
I wonder if that's the one I did basically the same thing. I found this one on YouTube like a year ago, and it was not a good rip.
Yeah, but so that, I mean, makes me happy that it's getting a proper release, because the best, again, like, yeah, the best I could find was VHS, which, you know, in some instances fine. In this instance, and I've heard good and bad. But the problem with like looking up reviews for a movie like this is those people who are reviewing it on Letterboxd have seen the same rip that you tried to watch, and so it kind of colors a lot of people's, especially like when I hear like someone say, "Oh, the cinematography in this is god awful." How would you know? How would you know? Come on.
You couldn't tell what was a person and what was a tree in that rip you watched.
Yeah.
Finally, from Cauldron is The Last Match, which looks super rad. This one has Henry Silva, and we've also got Charles Napier and Ernest Borgnine. That's the other name I wanted to throw out there. The Last Match is a classic early 90s action spectacle, making its U.S. home video and worldwide Blu-ray debut from a new 4K restoration from the OCN with all new special features, including interview with special effects artist Roberto Ricci. There's a mini doc by Eurocrime director Mike Malloy, which is probably going to be amazing. Video essay by Italian film expert Eugenio Ercolani called Understanding the Cobra. And then a commentary by Italian exploitation movie critic Michael A. Martinez with a booklet and a double-sided poster in the slipcase as well.
Oh, yeah, give me that double-sided poster. Oof. You give me a single-sided poster, I'll have some words, but you give me double-sided, double the pleasure, baby.
I feel like you talked about getting a couple from Cauldron. I don't think you've gotten many of them. Have you gotten any from Cauldron yet?
I've gotten 6 titles, I want to say.
That sounds about right from what you said.
2 of them were sent to me by a patron. The package that had the found footage movie, I can't remember with the year date or whatever.
Collingswood, and then 1974 La Possession de Altair or whatever.
I think I have those and everything before them, I think is what I have. I don't know. They're in the living room with all the other bullshit. So
Alrighty, let's go to first they have a discounted bundle. If you want, you can get all 3 of them from the Cauldron Films website. It is slightly discounted, but it's a decent deal if you're interested in all 3.
Yeah, get that sleaze, bitches.
All right, so we got another piece of information about the Halfway to Black Friday sale coming next week for Vinegar Syndrome, but this is the special features for A Blade in the Dark. We got a commentary track with the Hysteria Continues podcast, commentary track with Kat Ellinger for the extended cut, new interview with the director Lamberto Bava, new interview with screenwriter Dardano Sacchetti, new interview with cinematographer Gian Lorenzo Battaglia, video essay by Sam Deegan for this called The Gothic Slashers of Lamberto Bava, which is probably going to be incredible. And then there's an archival interview with Lamberto Bava and Dardano Sacchetti. But they also are adding the feature-length documentary called All the Colors of Giallo that was previously released by Severin. So it's an interesting move.
Yeah, doesn't really help me one way or the other. But yeah, I mean, it's Blade in the Dark 4K. That's all you really need. You're done. You're good. Throw some fucking special features, whatever, in there. Garnish it up a bit, but it's Blade in the Dark. Come on.
Exactly. I watched this one just a couple months ago. Now I wish I would have waited for the 4K, but it's a decent movie. I'm pretty happy this one's coming. Before we talk about needful things, I'm going to take a quick moment, if you don't mind, sir, to highlight a Vinegar Syndrome sale thing for next week. I want to tell everybody that next Wednesday on, I believe that's the 24th. Yes, 24th at 9 p.m. Eastern on this channel, we're going to be doing a pretty incredible live stream. I'm going to have a wonderful slate of guests, and we're going to all be counting down our top 10 Vinegar Syndrome favorite releases and give some bonus recommendations and just some random bullshit thrown in there. But it's going to be a pretty incredible lineup. We've got, I'll just share everybody right now. We've got Celeste La Cabra is going to be on. We've got Zach from the They Live by Film podcast, and Erica Schultz from Unsung Horrors, who's got that book coming up on child death. She recorded a video of her picks because she's not going to be able to make it live that night. And then rounding up the group, we got Troy Howarth coming on to share his favorite picks. So, yeah, it'll be a fun night.
Big boy Troy, they call him.
Troy's always fun. All right, Needful Things 4K from Kino Lorber coming on July 25th. This one got announced, it seems like forever ago. This doesn't have much in the way of new features on it, but we do got a new 4K restoration of the theatrical cut from the OCN, and then there's a brand new master of the TV cut that will be on the Blu-ray, and then there's a new interview with the screenwriter W.D. Richter on this. Needful Things. What do you think about Needful Things?
I've never seen Needful Things.
Whoa!
Yeah. I'm a piece of shit. Doop-a-dee-da-da-da. I don't watch movies, but sometimes I do, and when I do, they're usually porn.
I recommend it. It's a pretty good one. And now, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm curious if there might be something going on with StreamYard tonight, because you're having trouble, and there hasn't been a new chat message in 10 minutes, and yet there's 90 people watching.
Motherfuckers, do the chat. Do the chat.
I'm betting they are, and it's just not updating.
Well, I think I fixed my computer, so it's not StreamYard. Well, I don't think it's StreamYard. I'm about to test that theory. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Tits McGillicuddy, they calls me.
The last thing I got was a comment about, isn't there another prophecy film about a demon bear?
Demon bear. Doop-a-doop. Well, let me, do you have the YouTubes pulled up for your stream there?
I can.
Oh, I can just pop it up right now. There it is, live. Yeah, it's looking good. Oh yeah, they.
Yeah, I got all kinds of comments that are not showing up on StreamYard.
Yeah, look at that. Hot diggity fuckballs. What do you know?
I swear I am not just ignoring all of you.
I am.
Well, hopefully it catches up in a minute.
All right, I'm gonna quickly join in with my not fucked up bullshit.
Please do.
Oh fuck! I can't do it on Chrome. For some reason, I can't do StreamYard on Chrome. I don't know why that is, but I have to go to fucking Firefox every time. I have to input the link. I gotta do all this stuff. It's a real first world problem. But hey, I'm a first world guy. Never heard of
weird
things. Like,
all right.
Stephen King, everybody's heard of Needful Things. What the shitting dicks?
Let's go to the next one while Michael gets switched over. Kino Lorber announced they're giving us The Perfect Weapon from 1991. This is only going to be a Blu-ray release, but it's coming from a 4K scan of the OCN, and a lot of people wanted this on 4K, but I'm sure Kino probably doesn't want to pay out the nose for the UHD. Jeff Speakman. I saw this one when I was much younger, I think, and I remember liking it. Firefox still screwing you over?
Well, sometimes my Wi-Fi, when I had to restart my computer, and sometimes, well, my fiber is I don't get enough fiber in my diet, and so my fiber doesn't work properly.
That makes sense.
I might disappear. I don't know how this works on mobile. Just restart.
Yes, this is anarchy.
This is what happens when you have me on a show. It just everything goes to fucking shit dicks. I keep saying shit dicks. I'm kind of this is why I can't put my brain in multiple places, else everything just falls apart. Restart modem. Do you want to restart your modem? Yes, I do. Thank you very much for asking, Mr. Phone.
Well, now that I'm on YouTube, I can read through some of these comments while you're waiting on that too. Let's see. That artwork for Top Line makes me consider a purchase. Some people, though, completely agree. Poor Franco Nero being chased through a cactus patch. The person dripping green from their mouth looks like Jason Isaacs. Brian says he's a Cauldron simp. The Cauldron titles look fun to me, but I don't think I'll ever rewatch them. Have to pass. Wow. They may be free, but watching some prints on streaming look like public domain mud. Well said. Praise Borgnine for telling us how we can stay young. Not much of a football movie fan, but Silva and Borgnine, how can I resist? And And let's see. This is a blind spot for me. A Blade in the Dark, or as I call it, one of the 5 films of Bob. If you know, you know.
On kids, yeah.
There is a whole bunch of comments that I've missed, and it still hasn't updated since 15 minutes ago. Crazy. Brian from Just the Disc says more Keene songs, please. He wants you to sing.
Oh, you know you need more Keene songs. Do 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 do. And especially good when he's making up time and he's trying to do some other stuff. Your browser can't access your devices. Close any other applications that might be using. Fuck you. Suck my dick. Oh, it's my fault. I had Streamlabs open. That's my problem. Let's just
Hey, look at that.
There we go. Hi, there we go. All right.
It's
So,
beautiful.
hey,
Hello.
I'm desaturated.
And not enough fiber.
Not enough fiber in my diet.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, this is kind of shitty that we still don't have comments. Anyways, let's go to the next one. Kino Lorber is releasing the Philo Vance, I don't remember how to say this, collection. Brand new 2K and 4K masters on this. We got William Powell in 3 different films starring as your titular character based on the S.S. Van Dyne novels. These are from 1929 and 1930. And I know fuck all about these. What about you?
I mean, come on, we've all read the Philo Vance novels. Come on. He's one of the Sherlock Holmes, Batman, Philo Vance. Come on.
That's exactly how it was taught to me. Yeah, I know nothing.
Cool. I think the more movies we get on Blu-ray that have had no other proper good release and probably showed up in a public domain bin at some point, the better.
It's also really cool that we're still getting new restorations from 1929 films that most people are not clamoring for.
Yeah. Gets me hard. I love it. I mean, I'm not going to fucking buy this, but it's great.
Well, let's go to one you might buy, especially if anybody watches your stream from yesterday. Kurosawa's Dreams is coming on 4K from Criterion on August 8th. Why don't you tell us about Kurosawa and your love?
First off, Kurosawa, one of the masters. As far as mainstream Japanese cinema goes, him and Ozu have got it down pat. And yeah, I mean, okay. Love Akira Kurosawa. I would love to own every single movie of his. I do not. And the reason I don't is because I firmly believe we're going to get a collection at some point. Now, we have gotten a collection in the past from Criterion. It was all DVDs. It was years and years ago. It's out of print. Sells for like $2.5 billion on eBay. So I find it hard to believe, even as they start to shell out these 4Ks of his work, they're not going to just fuck me in the ass later with a fucking box set. And so I don't know if I'll be buying this. I feel like there's a strong chance that that by the next sale, I'll be like I won't be able to stop myself because I'm a mook. But I mean, it's fucking, it's
right. I opened it up a new tab and now I can see some comments. Let me share.
Look at that.
Let me share my screen again. Yeah, take that. Let's start over. I agree, Sardis.
Yeah, so oddly enough, Kurosawa, subject of the worst or one of the worst reviews I ever did. I think I unlisted it, in fact, because I did Ikiru, and it was a time in my life where I was trying to get into YouTube, and I had this like thing in my brain where I was like, I got to find something to complain about. The thing is, it's Kurosawa, like minus a few films. There's nothing to complain about. Shut the fuck up. And so I tried that, and I failed miserably. And it basically came down to, I understand Japanese culture. I'm better now. Now I just watch Pinku films.
Yeah. And Jerry Lewis.
And Jerry Lewis, baby.
Yeah. How's that going? Because I don't want to watch Jerry Lewis films.
Oh, God, I love it. So, Jerry Lewis is a mixed bag. I will say that much. I'm still, so this all started because I'm part of a little watch group thing, and we basically go back and forth or like around the group with who is picking the movies. And this is my first time being able to pick the movies for several weeks. And we do it for several weeks. That's what I should say. It's for several weeks, one person decides. And the last one was time travel movies. The one before that was Sam Fuller movies. And I was like, how can I really leave my mark? And so I said, well, I really want to do Pinku films, but I also really want to do Jerry Lewis films. Why? Because I want to watch a bunch of both. So I said, Pinku Lewis, baby. And so I'm watching a lot of Pinkus and a lot of Jerry Lewis. And turns out they are both my shit. Jerry Lewis, more of a mixed bag than Pinku films. Pinku films, most of them pretty enjoyable. A lot of them very subversive. And yeah, but Jerry Lewis, sometimes, like I watched The Family Jewels the other day, and The Family Jewels has some great bits, but has a plot. And when Jerry Lewis gets a plot, things go awry. They all have plots to some degree, but like the Patsy has a set plot, but it's really just a plot to allow Jerry Lewis to be a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
And so it's really the plot is in service of Jerry Lewis. And with The Family Jewels, it feels more like Jerry Lewis is in service of the plot a lot of the time. And it's one of those plots where you're like, the second characters are introduced, you're like, well, these are the beats that are going to go down. This is how it's going to end up. And so by following the plot so closely and being such a slave to it, it kind of falls apart a little bit. Still fun, but falls apart. Whereas something like The Bellboy, or currently my personal favorite is The Ladies' Man. Those are not really plot heavy at all. The Bellboy specifically has no. It's about a bellboy who's not very good at his job except for when he is. So sort of a plot, but not much. And its whole bit is, this is a film with no plot. Be warned, 1960 audience, no plot. And then The Ladies' Man, which is that. So Bellboy was his directorial debut. Defies expectations, makes a shitload of money, and then he gets this like insane deal with Paramount, I think, and they're like, here's all the money, you're gonna get the biggest fucking deal of anyone ever. And he's like, okay, I have this comedy idea. It's about a guy who swears off women, but he has to work in a sorority house, basically. I'm gonna need the biggest studio you have, but bigger. And we're going to spend millions of dollars on this set. Oh, well, it's a sorority house. Well, it's a big fucking sorority house. And it's going to be like a doll's house. We're going to go in and out. We're going to have it panning from one room to another. Fuck you. I'm Jerry Lewis. And it's so beautiful. It's so good. It has some of my favorite gags in it. There's this one where, I can't remember the guy's name, but it's this guy who has a scar on his mouth, or like by his mouth. And he played like gangsters and shit, and he's effectively a gangster in this, though he never says anything about it. And it's just Jerry Lewis sitting on this guy's hat and then trying to put the hat back on him. And it's so funny that even in the scene, like the shot is from behind Jerry Lewis, and you just hear and can kind of see Jerry Lewis like, because the guy's so funny, and it's such so good. And actually, The Nutty Professor is very plot heavy, and that one's great too. So it doesn't always, it's not a binary system, but generally speaking, the less plot, the more just, oh, delicious. Oh, the French had it right. Oh yeah, George Raft. Thank you, Just the Disc. George Raft.
I'm glad you can see the comments because I'm not seeing anything.
I got YouTube pulled up.
I do too in another tab right now. Somebody was asking because they thought you said pink goo. Could you share what pinku is?
Oh, pinku. So all right. So this is it's tough to fully explain. Basically, we go back to World War II. Okay, actually before World War II. So Japanese cinema, super conservative for the longest fucking time. Shock and awe. And World War II comes around, and they don't win. Spoilers for World War II. They don't win. And they go into American occupation, which has the most ramifications. Like if there's any, like the American occupation of Japan had more influence on Japanese filmmaking and culture than I think anything has ever influenced anything. It's insane. And during occupation, is it MacArthur was in charge of Japan, I think. But anyway, Americans were like, you can't talk about any of this shit. So it was doubly censored, and conservative and careful and all that. And then Americans leave, and Japan is left to its own devices. And this is the 50s at this point. And suddenly, all these artists who have just been aching to do some shit get let out. And bear in mind also, to be a film director in Japan, you have to go to college. Like, you have to go to university to be a director. That's it. You have to. So all these guys, super learned people, got that, Japanese verve to get shit done and work constantly until you die. They start making movies. And long story short, in the early 60s, you start seeing these sex films. And it starts with, in the late 50s, they were doing these movies about what they were, I don't know if I'm doing the pronunciation here right, but they were called Ama. And Ama were these pearl divers, basically. They were these women in these communities who dived for oysters and pearls and shit. And they were, for a while, like, people thought they were a whole different race because they're like Amazons, but not quite that, but they were effectively like Japanese Amazons.
Right.
And so these companies, kind of like how we have nudie cuties in the US around this time, and everything like leading up to actual pornography, like Herschel Gordon Lewis's Black Love, the greatest narrations of all time. So these Ama films were basically the nudie cuties of Japan. And they still make them every so often, but they died out eventually, as did the communities themselves, just because modern world and shit. But this led to studios, specifically smaller studios like Shintoho, which was it's literally new Toho. A bunch of Toho employees were like, "Fuck this shit," made Shintoho, and a bunch of other companies started putting out these sexploitation movies. And so it went from documentaries on Ama to fictional films on Ama to, oh, well, actually, we can just, like, if we come up with a reason, we're good. So they start making these sexy films. But there is a law in Japan that's, it's not a decency law. It's actually a hygiene law where you can't show genitals or pubic hair specifically on screen. And so what do the Japanese do? They innovate. They innovate by then finding ways to shoot really sexual material, but they can't show. So like you get into like bondage, and you get into bondage, you get into a lot of rapey stuff. And what's more, the filmmakers who are making these, not all of them, some of them just make smut, which bless them. But a lot of these filmmakers, like Koji Wakamatsu and I'm going to lose all the names, but all these fucking filmmakers start making what becomes pinku ega, and that's just, it's pink film, and pink, because pussies.
I wonder why.
So they start making these pinku ega, and it's basically just mildly graphic sexploitation. It's a hard genre to define, but it's basically Japanese indie sex films. And from there, you had Toei began doing pinky violence movies in the, I think, like 1970 or 1969, whatever, 70s, which are, like the Arrow released it. I don't know why the fuck I'm missing the name. The fucking Scorpion, Female Prisoner Scorpion.
Prisoner Scorpion, yeah.
Yeah, that series. So they did, and Hana Turkish Bathhouse is kind of a pinky violence movie. And then Nikatsu, another major Japanese studio, which they put out Branded to Kill by Seijun Suzuki, and then immediately fired him, and that led to a whole lawsuit. But they started doing their Roman porno line, which in Japan, porno doesn't really mean porn as we know it. It really is more of it's a much more like just sexual things. It's just sexy sex time and stuff. So Roman porno, Roman being like a book or a novel. So it's like it's classy sexploitation. And a lot of them have like torture and rape and all that jazz. And that then led to more stuff. Pinku Eiga still gets made. In the 80s, you had Hisayasu Sato making just banger after banger after banger. I have a video on his movies on my channel. And yeah, it's basically Japanese sexploitation. I don't know. I rant a bit.
All that being said, Michael is focusing on Pinku Films and Jerry Lewis Films at the moment, and is about to release a whole bunch of new merch and about to do a whole bunch of videos on that. So please go support his channel and subscribe to his Patreon. He puts out some great content, and he deserves it.
Thank you. Come give me money and attention.
Let's carry on. Wayne Wang's follow-up to Channa's Missing is getting released by Criterion on August 15th. I didn't pick up Channa's Missing, so I've not had a chance to see that one yet, but
it's good.
It's supposed to be pretty fantastic.
It's good. I wouldn't go that far. It's good.
Next up, new Swedish cinema box set coming. This is Bo Weiderberg's new Swedish cinema. It's got The Baby Carriage, Raven's End, Elvira Madigan, and Adeline 31 in this. I know nothing. This is a big blank spot for me. Any Swedish knowledge on your end? It seemed like you didn't know much about it when you did your video yesterday.
I took Duolingo on Swedish, and then I stopped. So no. I love Bergman, but that's like. Do you know anything about Japanese cinema? I love Kurosawa.
Right.
It doesn't really mean anything as far as. And of course, Ruben Östlund is great, but I'm not good at, unless it's like sick, fucked up shit. I'm not great at singling out one country.
Well, hopefully people can see. StreamYard caught up, so I can finally see some of these comments. Reggie says he wants to see me in a Pinku Lewis t-shirt in the near future. So we'll see.
We can make that happen, Buckaroo.
I've seen the merch. It looks wonderful. August 29th, Dry Longzo is coming out. I had never even heard of this. This is from 1998, and it's by Colleen Smith. It is a rediscovered treasure of 1990s DIY filmmaking. Colleen Smith's Dry Longzo embeds an incisive look at racial injustice with a lovingly handmade buddy movie murder mystery romance. I think that is the first time I've ever heard handmade buddy movie murder mystery romance together, and it was said earnestly. What's going on, Ken?
Oh, and Christian's hobby blog asked if I had any thoughts on Taro Ishii. I not really. I've only seen Horrors of Malformed Men, sadly. I need to watch Orgies of Ito and Inferno of Torture and Shogun's Joy of Torture. Is that right?
I think so. What do you think of Malformed Men?
It's great. I haven't watched it in years. I watched it a long time ago, and it was one of those movies where I was like, "Oh, Japan fucks."
Yeah.
So, I know I liked it a lot when I saw it. I probably, if I watched it today, would love it even more. So, I'd recommend.
That was a Arrow release too, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Whew. Christian says Orgies of Ito and all the others are all 4.5 to 5s.
Okay, I'm kind of focusing on the 60s right now, but I will. I think just swallowed a fly. I'll get into that.
Stan appreciates your education.
Oh, and by the way, Stan also asked, "Are the Pinku films all straight?" Asked her to the 80s, but yes and no. Most of them are straight. Hisayasu Sato in the 80s, I want to say, did a great gay Pinku called Muscle, and I think he did a few more, I believe, and there were other gay Pinkus, but for the most part they were straight, just by virtue of what the market would demand. But there are gay ones, where men are just rubbing their underwear laden junk against. There actually in Muscle, a guy just like licks a guy's cock, but it's under underwear, so he's just licking the surface of the underwear because they can't show anything.
Right.
It's like how close can we get here, guys? We can't just show a pair of tits because no one cares.
Paul Huggins wants to know, I wonder how many are in the ICU. Is there much incest in many of those?
There's a fair amount.
I believe I remember one or two being in there. What was it? Impulse, the Synapse brand. I think they released one that had some incest in it.
I mean, probably they released a lot of Nikatsu.
Well, I'm thinking of the Blu-ray one specifically, which they only did like 2 of.
Oh shit, I can't think of what. Yeah, there's. I mean,
something flower.
Really, almost anything taboo will get popped in there somewhere.
That's true.
It just depends. It's kind of, especially like as you get into like the 80s, it gets real fucked up. I mean, again, Sato. I mean, he has 2 films I've watched with horse fucking. But he does so. One thing I love about specifically the 80s stuff I've watched is they will like play with the fact that they have to censor things. And so in Man Dog Horse or fuck, I can't remember what the name is, but one of them about this chicken like purgatory, and there's a horse and a dog. For the horse, they censor its erect penis, and of course horses. If you've seen Jackass 2, big dicks, and so it's just like this big pixelated black bar that they have on screen, and it's absolutely not an actual horse cock. 110 fucking %. Like, you just watch how they edit it together. It's not an actual horse cock, but they act like it is. And he'll do stuff like that where it's like you can't fucking see what's going on. Like, he'll have 2 people fucking, and it's just a complete blur of pixels. And they could be doing it. They could be playing fucking Jenga. You don't know. And it's kind of inspiring, honestly. Like, I want to make a movie where I just pixelate all the fucking shit, because then, I mean, you don't like no intimacy. It's just kind of rub up against each other a bit. Great.
Just
perfect.
sit by each other and move.
Yeah, like, it doesn't matter. And I think that's delightful. We should use more pixelation in cinema.
All right, leaving Criterion for the month. Let's get started on some TerrorVision. I know you went through these quite in detail on your channel yesterday. These should all be shipping around June 15th. If you were one of the subscribers for TerrorVision, you should get these first. I will say, for all of these, check out the trailers. They actually, Justin Beam cut some original trailers for, I think, 3 out of 4 of these, and they're really great. Like, this looks like a pretty solid round of releases. We got Welcome to Hell from 2021. This has a commentary with the director, a whole bunch of interviews on it. There is a music video trailer behind the scenes. Then we got Captives from Gary Cohen, who also did Video Violence. This has a new commentary with the director. Again, whole bunch of new interviews. There's an alternate cut of Captives known as Mama's House, and there's new captions on this one. That one, I just clicked away. That one's released in 88. Then we got the Japanese remake of Cube from 2021. That has a new interview on there that Michael edited. Thank you, Michael. And it said it was long on your stream. I think you said like 40 minutes or something, right?
Yeah, for like 41 minutes, I think. I had to find the file on my computer.
And then the one that seems to be getting everybody's attention is Srigala from 1981. This is an Indonesian, basically it's a Friday the 13th ripoff that seemed to be made the day Friday the 13th got released, since it came out in 81. And this has a handful of interviews, including a Barry Prima interview. But yeah, what do you think about the bundle that's coming out? I know that you got some ties to TerrorVision, but
Dude, I'm an untrustworthy source. I say that I don't. My income is not dominantly TerrorVision,
right?
But I mean, I've been very happy with everything so far. I've bought almost none of it because if I'm working on it, I just don't really tend to on things. Also, I'm patiently waiting for Brad to one day send me my my editor copies. But I mean, they're putting out good work. What I like about TerrorVision is it's basically just these 2 guys who are like, okay, what'd be really cool to release on Blu-ray?
Yep.
And they're not terribly interested in putting out things that have already been on disc, or at least not on anything good. And they have a predisposition towards, well, not they are all about newer stuff and older stuff. I've heard about a few things that are going to go way back.
Obviously can't say dick about them, but
well, what we can say, and I don't think you covered this on your video last night. They put out this list.
Oh my God.
So first of all, they announced new subscription tiers. You can subscribe at 10 titles, 20 titles, 30 titles, 40 titles, or 50 titles. And they gave 50 hints on what is coming. So we've got 2014 horror drama character study, 2016 horror, early 1900s horror, lost 80s SOV collection, horror comedy, horror documentary, 50s foreign thriller, 70s lost Italian, SOV quadrilogy box set. There's all kinds of shit here. And most of these, if you see, most are either US Blu-ray premieres throughout the entire world, or they've never even been on disc. This is incredible.
Yeah, they have procured an aggressive amount of titles to the point where I can't even imagine. I don't know what's coming next until they pop something my way. But I've had conversations about a lot of these. There's one project in particular that hasn't been confirmed yet, I'll be involved with it heavily if it does. That is one of the coolest things I've seen from one of these companies.
Interesting.
And I could compare it to another company's thing that is also really cool, but that'd be spoiling it. It's just it's a lot of banana shit. There is going to be more SOV. So for those that don't like SOV, I love SOV. But the great thing about them, again, is it's all over the place. I mean, I heard about the 1900s stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, hook my titties up, juice me. So I think people are going to be in for quite the treat. My only concern with TerraVision is because their interests are so vast. I think people might write them off because there's not, because like people with vinegar syndrome, it's always like, well, that's not really a vinegar syndrome title, which is a dumb thing to say because the entire impetus behind the company is to save films. That's it. That's all really they have to do to fit the description. And so you have other, but TerraVision, it's like indie Arrow almost, where it's, like they'll do newer stuff and older stuff and classics and horror and exploitation. But in this instance, it's like, and we're going to do some fucked up SOV, and there's going to be some movies no one's ever fucking seen. And it's just like all over the place. We're going to give people some eyes on some new independent artists. And this is how we talk. Behind, as I call I call Brad. Behind. I'm very excited.
I am as well. I think one of the things that might start to put some people off is that they're called TerraVision, and a lot of people have just come with the mindset of they're only doing SOV horror, and that is super far from the truth. I mean, some of the stuff that they have coming that's not even teased on this list is some people are going to perceive as possibly too out of left field, but it's one company that is curating from two people that love what they love and want to share that with everybody. And I am excited to see how the world responds to these. But there is a lot with this. Like the subscriptions going up to 50 titles. I know it's a lot of money, but the fact that the more that you subscribe to, the cheaper everything gets for you. Because remember, this is going to cover 4Ks as well. They're working on some of those into the rest of the year. And then one of the other things, free shipping, obviously, but people are not ever stressing enough the wholesale site that they have. If you also love vinyl, if you also love some of the other stuff that they put out, some of their clothing that is going to be guaranteed, they're going to do merch for some of these titles. If you want any of that, they're going to be cheaper for you just based on you being a subscriber and having access to that wholesale site. I've already used it as a sub, and it's really great pricing.
Yeah, they're cooking. They're cooking. Let them cook. They're cooking. It does make me kind of sad that they're called TerraVision, because it's so much more than that, and so you kind of do have this idea going in that isn't really accurate.
Ashton says the company that really makes me want to splurge and buy all the new stuff is Severin and Radiance. Radiance has a lot of art house films I love, and Severin's new releases have been excellent. How you feeling about Severin lately?
I love Severin. I think they're great. Have they made whoopsies in the past? Certainly. But they, like, when it comes down to the brass tacks, like the releases, I mean, that Black Emmanuel set almost certainly set of the year, release of the year, even.
Yeah.
And like, I love my my trashy indie filmmaker sets. I mean, all of them have been a fucking treasure. I just wish I had more time to spend with all of them. Like, I watched a healthy chunk of the Al Adamson set, but I still haven't finished that. And I don't even, like, my Cash Flag fix can only be brought up so many times a day. Like, there's so much, but I love what they're doing. Sometimes they release something that I don't give a shit about, but the beauty of that is I just don't buy it. So
it's true. Let's finish up these announcements then. July 25th, Welgo is releasing Forgotten Experiment. This says a young eccentric inventor and businessman with a team of scientists finds himself in a mysterious anomalous zone where the time is broken. Now they need to unlock the secrets of the past to save the future. What is up with all the broken time titles recently?
I mean, it's a really cheap way, or it's a way to make a really cheap high concept movie, for one thing. So I think that's why.
Yeah, it's just much more common, it feels like.
I don't know this director at all, so I don't know anything about this.
That's Welgo for you. Next, this is the artwork for
another one.
This is the 4K Steelbook that was announced kind of softly with the Wicker Man release that was announced last week, and now this is up for pre-order. This is coming on September 4th. Still has all the same features and all the same discs and everything. This is currently only in the UK. This is the inside of the Steelbook and the outside. How do you feel about this art?
I mean, it's cool. I don't like Steelbooks, so it's got kind of an issue going in for me. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's not like a prejudice against Steelbooks. It's more a lack of interest.
Yeah.
It just doesn't appeal to me all that much. But it's fine. I like the art on the normal limited release much more. I think it's much more in keeping with the film.
Me too. And I'm curious because this is Studio Canal owns this, I believe, worldwide. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a Lionsgate version of this in the States this fall, probably.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can actually buy that limited from Studio Canal, because it does look really good.
Yeah.
I missed out on the big release from
Imprint.
Yeah. I don't know. I can only take in so many high budget labels.
Well, and there's a lot of people that are not super stoked on paying like $95 for that Imprint Wicker Man and then to get a 4K announced the following year.
Yeah. My only problem with the Studio Canal release is like, okay, when are we gonna get the 4K like that includes the wicker tree and all that shit? Like, when are we gonna get like this big set that has even more going on to it? But whatever. It's not even a movie that really needs. I don't know. But yeah, if I can just buy and rub my dick all over that normal limited edition from Studio Canal. There we go. Speaking of rubbing my dick, Robert Carradine and Billy D. Williams, come on.
Number one at the Bullet, July 18th from Kino. And yeah, Robert Carradine, Billy D. Williams. We got a new audio commentary with Mike Leader and Arna Venema. That is going to be an incredible commentary.
I've never even heard of this movie, but looking at that cover, I really need to watch this movie. Like, look at that fuck. This is like everything that's good about America. Just right there. Guns, big city, dude in black guy in tan,
not white.
These two just dudes, doesn't matter what race they are, just working together.
Stan is asking, does Michael's dick have its own channel?
Not yet. Wait until I hit 10K.
Oh God. Yeah, if you wanted this movie with Lando and Lizzie McGuire's dad, this is coming out on July 18th. Gloria, this is a John Cassavetes film with Gina Rowlands. This is coming on July 18th as well. And yeah.
It's a great film. It's probably his most mainstream off the top of my head.
Very, yeah.
And I mean, has a great maternal performance from Gina Rowlands. And yeah, I mean, it's really good.
I wonder if it was I was going to say, I wonder if it's a studio thing that there's nothing on here. I guarantee some of the Kino mainstays would have loved to do a commentary for a Cassavetes film.
Yeah, I wonder who owns Gloria. Because I can probably... Oh, I don't know anything about Columbia. But
interesting, Columbia. They're also putting out Nevada Smith with Steve McQueen. This is also coming on July 18th. This has a new 4K restoration from the OCN with a new audio commentary by C. Courtney Joyner, the producer Mark Jordan Legan, and film historian Henry Park.
I've never seen Nevada Smith, so
it's Steve McQueen though. I mean, I
do like Steve McQueen. That's not a guaranteed quality marker, but I do like.
That's true. It's very true. Stan says Gloria is a strong film, even though Cassavetes claims he just did it for the cash. I mean, it's Cassavetes. Next up, one of Michael's favorites, August 15th, Unearthed is putting out August Underground from 2001. And really, we just got some of the details on this one. We got a new audio commentary from Fred Vogel and Ultra Violent Magazine's Art Edinger. There's a new 10 questions with Fred Vogel, new toe tag masterclass from storyboard to screen, and then Dave Parker interviews Fred Vogel, and then a whole bunch of archival features on here. I believe by the end of the year, they're planning on doing all 3 of the August Underground films. And knowing Unearthed, they're probably going to do a box set eventually with all 3 all on one, but we'll see.
Yeah. 100%.
So for real, August Underground, are you getting this one?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I have this kind of thing now where I don't really like to buy anything that I won't watch more than once. And sometimes
like a pop in every couple months type of movie.
Yeah, not really. I can't jerk off to this movie. Well, barely. So that's doesn't really get me going. But I mean, it's a cool release, and I mean, there's a lot of extras. I'm really impressed by everything going on there. Unearthed, Unearthed does great work. A lot of their movies really aren't for me. And sometimes I'll buy them like I wanted to do a Serbian film video, and so I bought it, and I still haven't done that because I don't really want to rewatch a Serbian film.
Right.
I remember when I initially saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's not that bad." And now I'm a dad, and I'm like, I don't really want to watch that.
Well, now at least you can plan to make it and drop it around when that 4K comes out, so it gets more views.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Oh, interesting. Terry says, took a look in Glory previously at a Twilight Time Blue, and that only had an isolated music track. So yeah, there's probably something fucky with the rights on that one.
Yeah, it might be because Sony owns Columbia. I'm wondering if Sony is just being a bag of dicks. It's entirely possible. They're Sony. Can't even.
You summon John. Stan is scared of August Underground. There's no reason to be scared. It's I don't know. I think at this point I'm possibly a little lackadaisical to some of these, but yeah, August Underground, it doesn't feel like the reputation even matches what it has.
Well, and it is one of those movies that it's kind of built around the reputation.
Exactly. Same as Serbian film, actually.
Yeah.
Explain to me how Unearthed is putting out a film from 2022. Way to unearth that 1-year-old film. What film from 2022?
Isn't it called Unearthed because it's gross and they're unearthing like bodies?
Yeah, that's what I think it is. It's not like Unearthed has the reputation of saving films.
Yeah.
The Sound
Oh.
of Summer.
I didn't even see this Calamity of Snakes release though.
That's made some waves over the last couple months. They did a animal cruelty free version on there.
Oh, I did one of those. I on Copperhead, I edited together the animal cruelty free version, which was both more challenging and less challenging than you would expect. There's actually not a lot of snakes murdered in Copperhead. It looks like there are. It looks like there's way too many. There's not a whole lot. It's kind of crazy.
Calamity of Snakes is like mostly snakes being murdered.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Anytime I see any Asian cast and it's about animals, I'm like, well,
It's in the title.
a lot of lives were lost.
Next up, just kind of wanted to highlight this awful art. Disney is putting out a 4K steelbook of Cinderella, and this is only really notable because they did a 4K of this as a Disney Movie Club exclusive, and now this is the way that it's going to be released to the world. They'll likely do some sort of standard eventually, but this new Disney Vault shit where they're going from the Disney Movie Club to Best Buy exclusive on this, that is really, really crappy.
Yeah. Also, is this the first time presumably they've fixed the shittiness of the previous Cinderella release?
Well, yes, because it's the same file as the one that went through Disney Movie Club, and it's getting glowing reviews. It's supposed to be a wonderful, wonderful transfer.
Well, that's at least that's something, I guess, because that old release, oof.
Yeah, it's not great. Paul Huggins says, from August Underground to Cinderella, only on Disconnected.
Yeah, this is the kind of shit I would skim right over for Quadruple BN.
Of course. Yeah, I am eager to see this disc, actually, but I am not eager to see it in this steelbook.
Yeah, it looks like a pile of rancid dicks served on like a really like obnoxiously colorful platter that like your grandma would own.
Own and not actually serve anything on except for that one time when the Queen shows up.
It's just in a case, you can't touch it because that'll, it'll decrease its value at the flea market.
In a case where the light bulb is burned out and she just can't fix it because the light bulb can't be replaced. How about some Jess Franco? Full Moon just kind of quietly dropped Downtown Heat from 1994, one of Jess Franco's later titles. This actually showed up on Hamilton Book during their last drop as already in stock before before Full Moon even announced that it was coming. No special features. And,
yeah, of course not. It's Full Moon. Fuck you.
You'll be happy with it.
And so I tell my movie watching group that I'm going to be a little late tonight, so they can just go ahead and pick what Jess Franco movie we're going to watch tonight.
Interesting. All right, skipping over Jess Franco to today's announcements from Indicator. 4K of The Rape of the Vampire. This is coming in the UK and the US on August 21st with a ton of special features. We got all kinds of archival special features, new commentary from Tim Lucas. We've got Fragments of Pavement Under Sand, updated documentary on the making of, directed by Roland's personal assistant, Daniel Goyette. There's a new interview with Jean-Denis Bonan, editor of The Rape of the Vampire and assistant director on The Far Countries. Speaking of The Far Countries, they are giving us the short called The Far Countries. That is a 4K restoration of that. And then there's also an audio commentary from Roland for that. And some more. This is like a crazy stacked release. Indicator kind of always does that.
Yeah, this is a tough one because Rape of the Vampire, not the best. Also, the title promises a lot more than you get.
So does this cover art.
Yeah, because it's for those that are unaware, Rape of the Vampire is basically two movies shoved together. Because they made a short, I don't even remember how long the first segment is, but they made a short film effectively. Yeah. And that was like, oh, we give you money.
Give us more.
All right. So we'll just do this weird retcon like a quarter of the way through the film, and it'll go into this whole like sci-fi bullshit movie that makes zero sense. And it's not bad to me. To a lot of people, it's bad.
Right.
but I'm not like, on the one hand, I bought the last two Roland 4Ks. I own all available Roland Blu-rays.
Oh wow.
So it's tough because on the one hand, that little like collecty side of me is like, well, you love John Roland. It's the same part of me that's like, you should probably buy that Downtown Heat Blu-ray, even though you have a copy that you ripped from Tubi and it's probably the same quality.
Yay,
just because it's like, I love these filmmakers.
Yeah,
it's tough. That's tough.
Well, looking at the other one, this one actually is really good. I like Night of the Hunted a lot.
That's one I have not seen yet, so that might be worth. I own it again. I own it, but tough to say no.
So Night of the Hunted coming in 4K as well on August 21st. This is from 1980, and this one says, in the dead of the night, Elizabeth is rescued from unknown pursuers by Robert and taken to safety. But after she is kidnapped and taken to an austere clinic, whose distressed and abused patients are suffering from progressive memory loss, Robert sets out to find her and discover what is taking place in the clinic. Again, ton of archival special features on this. We got Tim Lucas doing a commentary on this. We've got updated documentary on the making of this as well. Same thing by Daniel Goyette. And then new edited archival interview with Brigitte Lahaye. Newly edited archival interview with the producer Lionel Wallman. A lot of writing. We got an alternative sex scene in this. And then filmed critical appreciation by author and musician Stephen Thrower. That's pretty cool.
Love that man.
Yeah, smart dude.
Brigitte Lahaye, great tits.
This is true. Lots of comments on that right there. John Peters, Brigitte freaking Lahaye. Yeah, this is one I would recommend. I like this one way more than Rape of the Vampire.
Yeah, I'll almost certainly pick this one up sight unseen. Not sure what I'm gonna do with all those fucking redemption discs that got mentioned, but
yeah, and now I'm curious. Indicator genuinely could have all of them and have them all coming in 4K.
Yeah, that's oof. It's like the stock market sometimes.
Yep. Oh well. This one got announced today as well. July 4th, Raro is putting out Star Pilot. This is a kitschy sci-fi extravaganza recently restored in 4K that is a wildly colorful adventure through the vastness of space. This also has the alternate English language cut of the film, and then an audio commentary by David Delvalle, I believe is how you say his last name. Yeah, this one actually looks kind of fun.
Yeah. I actually skipped over this one for the last Quadruple BN, mostly because I didn't feel like talking about too much. But it does sound really fun. And it's Italian, so directed by Pietro Francischi.
And because it's a Kino partner label, this will be on sale for $10 in probably 8 months, probably.
True.
At some point.
Yeah, I don't really trust Raro a lot either. That's another problem I have.
Speaking of not trusting, you want to talk about VCI?
No, thank you.
They are putting out
the
serial Jack Armstrong from 1947 on August 15th, and this is the last announcement of the week. This has 15 chapters, newly restored in 4K.
I mean, it is Jack Armstrong.
Yeah.
He's right up there with the other guy who's right below Batman.
That is it. Then let's cover what is coming next week in case everybody forgot. What's going on, Bob? Next week we've got a couple of the big ones, especially some big 4Ks. Brotherhood of the Wolf 4K, Shazam, Fury of the Gods 4K, Creed 3 with Jonathan Majors, everybody's new favorite frontman. The Running Man 4K, Crank 4K, Steelbook, Petite Maman from Criterion, VHS 99 from RLJE and Shudder, which kind of quietly, I don't know how many people paid attention to this. VHS 99 is also getting a Walmart exclusive Steelbook if you're into that.
Huh.
Yeah. Violent Streets. This is coming. I believe this is from Film Movement. This is a Hideo Gosho movie.
That one's actually on my radar. That's one I might buy.
Yeah, Violent Streets is supposed to be great. And Film Movement, they don't get enough support. So yeah, definitely need that. My man Godfrey from Kino, that's the 1957 My Man Godfrey. Joy House from Kino. Warm Water Under a Red Bridge is coming from Kino, or one of their partner labels, I believe it was, next week. Tintin. We got Tintin and the Mystery of the Blue... what's it called? Mystery of the Golden Fleece and Tintin and the Blue Oranges double feature.
Is that a live action Tintin?
Yes, I believe so.
I didn't even know that existed. What a time to be alive.
2 movies. Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Yeah, I believe so.
Also, I'm seeing a lot of random love for Planet of the Vampires, which is indeed a fucking banger. Fucking just colorful bava. Mwah, 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 mwah.
That's the one that Play On did in 4K where they locked it.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Fuckers. But that's oh my god. Talk about like utilizing your fucking budget. Like you listen to the commentary or a document or whatever on Planet of the Vampires, and then you watch it again.
Yep.
Holy shit. Oh my god. Hook me up.
Let's see. Hi Diddle Diddle from Classic Flicks next week. Soundies, the Ultimate Collection from Kino Classics.
Ooh.
Consecration. This movie looked awful. That's coming next week as well. Here's that VHS 99 Steelbook. And yeah, that's pretty much it for next week. Anything jumping out as must for you?
Other than Violent Streets, I do kind of like the sound of the Soundies disc.
Yeah.
And I love Brotherhood of the Wolf. I'll probably pick that up at some point.
I'm curious if Shout even bothered to fix their subtitles, because the subtitles in their Blu-ray release were awful.
Oh, that's no good. God damn, fucking Shout.
That's Shout Factory for you. Well, tonight, Michael wanted to talk about subversive film. So we already kind of brought it up earlier. Why don't you share like what your personal definition for it is, since it's kind of an abstract thing.
It is an abstract thing. So subversive film, I mean, it subverts expectations. I think the most widely used example in the mainstream would be Last Jedi. I mean, Last Jedi, a film that I love. That love is hampered a bit by the fact that the movie that followed it up threw everything out and fucked the bag. But it's a film that split people. It's a film that people went in expecting one thing and they got something completely different.
Yep.
And for some people, and subversiveness, it can be subversive for the sake of subversiveness, or it can be subversiveness for the sake of like an artistic statement or to push something in a different direction. A lot of people accuse Last Jedi of being subversive for the sake of it. I disagree. I'm sure that Rian Johnson knew what he was doing, don't get me wrong, but I think, in theory could have bettered the Star Wars universe. But then the studio acted like a bunch of cold foot bitches. But there's subversive that works. I mean, staying in like the mainstream, I would say that Man of Steel was a very subversive film, and that created a whole fucking cult. Also a movie that I really liked when it came out and still do like, even though I don't particularly care for the follow-up. And similarly, the new head of the DCU, James Gunn, makes pretty subversive films. Oddly, kind of a other side of the coin of Zack Snyder when it comes to subversiveness. Suicide Squad, very subversive. But then you get into older films. Staying in the mainstream, you could count The Godfather as subversive. At the time, a mafia movie or a mob movie was a very specific thing, and Francis Ford Coppola was like, "We're going to make it about Italian heritage and family, and like the immigrant, the whole like immigrant experience, rather than just bang bang, kappas." So that's, an interesting way of subverting expectations and winning. Citizen Kane, similarly, one of the greatest films of all time. Anybody who says it's overrated, fuck you, you're a piece of shit. Very subversive film for the time, very subversive story. And
still holds up.
That twist, probably, I don't know for a fact, but probably pissed a lot of people off because it's kind of a fuck you twist. and let's see, Mad Max Fury Road, Psycho, Seijun Suzuki's Branded to Kill, I mentioned earlier. So Subversive, he lost his job.
Yeah.
And actually, going back into Pinku films are generally very subversive because you go in expecting smutty porn, and then you might get the guy who co-wrote Branded to Kill did Inflatable Sex Dolls of the Wasteland, which is, I think it's called Dutch Woman of the Wasteland is the actual proper title, but it's a saucier title if you call it Inflatable Sex Dolls. And that is a very subversive film because even though it is a Pinku film, it is not really, it's not sexy at all. Like even the sex scenes themselves are not provocative. They are not things you're going to jerk to. Most of it's just arty bullshit. It's kind of a, well, I'd be spoiling it, but it leads to a twist. It's very dreamy, very dream logic kind of thing. You have no idea what the fuck's going on half the time. But you went in for a sex film, and that is subversive. Pulp Fiction, 100% is a subversive film. You know, you go in for like this crime movie, okay, fun times, and you get fucking Pulp Fiction. Mad Max Fury Road is subversive for a number of reasons. You know, just the fucking style of that film is not at all what you'd expect from
especially from that franchise.
Yeah, or an action movie for that matter. Like it's completely out of left field. And it's taking an iconic character who is played by a specific actor and not only recasts that actor, but pushes him aside for a different main character and doesn't have him say more than like 10 fucking words in the entire film. TerraVision released a film called Get My Gun recently that's not selling nearly enough units. And it is ostensibly a rape revenge movie. And it has, you know, character in a nun outfit. Briefly, I should note the poster on like Letterboxd, very misleading, but it is a rape revenge movie, and it completely changes the formula for that kind of film and tries something completely different. Like halfway through, it changes plots, but does come back around because it has kind of a wraparound segment. And it completely subverts expectations to the point that when I first saw it, I was a little disappointed. I was like, I don't know if that's really, it's fine. It's like a 3-star. And then I rewatched it and I was like, oh, fuck, this is actually really smart. Like, take away some of the low budget issues that it has. And it's like, this is a really smart, subversive rape revenge movie. And there's a audio essay with, I don't want to get the wrong.
Alexandra Heller-Nicholas, I believe.
Yeah, it's Alexander Heller-Nicholas. And I edited that. I think it says it's an audio essay, and it is, but it is technically a video essay because I put a lot into that video. Yeah, I mean, Funny Games. Funny Games has one of the most subversive twists ever. It makes Citizen Kane look like, I don't know, something that's not subversive, something generic. Like, it's the most insane thing to do in what is ostensibly a fucking home invasion movie. And to me, like, that's great. I love subversive, even if it's subversiveness for the sake of subversiveness, I can get behind it depending on what it is. I like some good troll shit. Auditions are great. Yeah, very subversive.
Well, and for the ones that are subversive because they're trying to be subversive, a lot of times those are something that you can really throw out there as kind of like for protest films. A lot of those that are made to go against what a political climate is saying or what somebody's expecting a director to churn out for their next project, or, you know, just to completely go against your entire country and make a statement. It's happened countless times in film history.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that spurred. I keep going back to it, but it's my current obsession. But it spurred the Pinku movement. A lot of these directors, they needed an outlet for these very political thoughts. It's not really technically a Pinku, but Gate of Flesh, also Seijun Suzuki. It's about occupation and all that jazz. It's based on a play that was super controversial at the time, and that movie is bananas and very subversive. Which, I mean, all of Seijun Suzuki's movies are basically subversive. To the point that you just say Seijun Suzuki, they're no longer subversive to you. You know exactly what you're getting. But yeah, I mean, it's a very wide net, but you definitely know it when you see it. And I like when filmmakers try something new. I'm not a big fan of doing the same thing over and over again. To an extent, I mean, there's certainly franchises that I enjoy them just doing, like James Bond. Generally, there is some kind of change to it, but it's like Godzilla in that new monster, same basic premise. And every so often you get a Casino Royale or Shin Godzilla that changes shit up. But generally speaking, same thing again and again. And I like that. But when it gets like the last James Bond movie, don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it somehow, but very subversive, does some things that you wouldn't expect, generally speaking. I thought that was great. You know, it has some serious issues here and there, but the actual like subversive aspect of it, fantastic. Love it. Were they trying to just be different because it was Daniel Craig's last movie? Maybe, but worked for me because it was something new.
And some of those things, obviously, you could say certain scenes are subversive, but the film overall isn't necessarily subversive.
Yeah.
But there's so much that you'd have to, I don't, maybe, you know, technically like analyze critically to find out, you know, was this a different message they were trying to send with the overall plot? Is there some underlying theme that they're trying to spit out in the 19th film of a franchise or something? It's not as easy as saying, well, this one is subversive because the ending was different.
Yeah. And I feel like if you go into a movie and it's really just not what you expected, that is like that's pretty much the main ingredient. That's not going to be every time, but it's, you know, generally speaking, that's going to be the subversive movie.
Yep. And
the beauty of that is it's taking a chance, you know, it's shooting its shot. And so, like, you know, is Force Awakens a good Star Wars movie? Sure. It's good. You know, it's fun. It's entertaining. It hits all the beats.
Yeah.
It kind of tries to be subversive with Rey, I guess, but it doesn't really succeed in doing anything like that. It's kind of, you know, very surface level. But it's fun. You know, it's fine. It's good. It's a good movie. But then you actually try something. Andor, I guess, is a good example of this happening and it actually working for seemingly everyone. You know, you try something different that's not the same old mold, and suddenly you get something good. Whereas like the Boba Fett show that everybody fucking hated was pure fan service. You know, it's just like, we're gonna throw a lot of Star Wars into this. You know, people like Boba Fett because his helmet's cool, has a T. You ever notice that it has a T? His name's not Toda Fett. What's with that, guys? Come on. What if it was saved by Saiyan people? Can we say that word still? Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's go. And it sucks because you're not doing anything. One reason I'm not a huge fan of The Mandalorian is, to me, it's just a lot of fan service. It's not a bad show. It's just, I don't give a shit because it's just
comes from a mold.
Do I like aspects? Yeah, I mean, it stars Pedro Pascal. I'm not going to complain about Pedro Pascal. The man's a beast. But you know, I personally like things to be new because I've seen all this shit before. You know, I've seen Star Wars at its absolute peak, The Last Jedi. I don't need you to, you know, rehash things that I liked from Empire Strikes Back or New Hope or whatever. I don't need it. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't, like, if you do it really well, cool, but you're actively working against yourself by making me compare it. Like Solo, did not like Solo.
Yeah.
Not because it's necessarily a badly made movie. It's actually a really well-made film, technically speaking. But it's like, well, how did he get the name Solo anyway? Hey Jim, we gotta explore this. That's a weird name. It's a weird name, Solo. We should explore that. And I don't give a shit. I don't care. Fuck you. Right. I don't. Why would I? I was listening to the podcast We Hate Movies, and it was their coverage of Mortal Kombat, this latest Mortal Kombat movie, and they were talking about the Scorpion's, you know, hand thing. It's like, oh, well, it's actually a garden tool that he has a rope around the garden tool, and he just like does a little thing, and that's how he got his fucking weird hand shit. Whoop-de-fucking-do, guys. Yeah. How about we just not do that? How about we try something and like have a voice. I think that's what it is. It's movies that have a voice are generally the movies that are subversive. You know, Citizen Kane, you could just make a fucking movie about a newspaper magnate and just be done with it. But instead, you make fucking Citizen Kane. And it's completely just new, brilliant, just out of the fucking Orson Welles id. F for Fake is similar in so much as you could just make a fucking documentary. But what if you made the world's most like head-splittingly, like just layer upon layer pseudo documentary? That's way better.
And that's the thing. Even documentaries can be incredibly subversive because a lot of them, got some of the best ones. They set out on something that you perceive as the theme, and halfway through the entire tone changes, and it's finding some other story within that story, and it's remarkable, and it's something that you'll probably fall in love with because it's you were expecting something, and now it's stuck in your brain for the rest of your life.
Speaking of which, guys, go watch Dear Zachary. It's a laugh riot. You'll have a great time.
Oh man, yes please. Yeah, so God, subversive film, is there anything that sticks out as maybe like the first one that you really felt was subversive for you?
I mean, that's tough. I guess at the my favorite film of all time, RoboCop. I watched it first when I was like 6 years old, and I've never let my mom forget that.
That's right on time for that movie.
Humor, Michael. I didn't raise you to talk that way. Well, RoboCop did. But that's a film where it's like, oh yeah, it's RoboCop. It's a robot cop.
Right.
Obviously, like that's just going to be a straight action picture. And then you put fucking Paul Verhoeven on it. And no, actually, it's going to be the greatest criticism of consumer America we've ever seen. And it's going to be super tragic and fucked up and also really hilarious. And it's going to be simultaneously the best satire and the best action you've seen in your fucking life. Suck my whole ass, says Paul Verhoeven. Next, I'm going to make a film about fascism, and you're all going to think it's legit.
That's Verhoeven for you.
That's fucking Verhoeven. I'm going to make a movie that you're going to think is just a dumb piece of smut, and one day it'll be reevaluated and put on a 4K with a shitty cover.
What is up with that artwork?
It's so bad. Guys, I love Vinegar Syndrome. I love you. You give me money. You're amazing. But that cover sucks ass. I'm sorry.
If you look at like individual details, it's kind of neat, but to sell a VSU, it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be different in the hand. I don't know.
DC asks, is it subversive or is it more meta satire? I think it is subversive because of what it sounds like. Because like we have a different vision of what RoboCop is now because we've grown up and watched it a bunch and we know from the outset what it is. If you look at it at the time, you know, it's the 80s. We're putting out all this ridiculous bullshit. You know, that's basically just something cop and it like kills people. I don't know. You know, it's just silly. But then RoboCop takes it to a whole nother level and you go in expecting just a silly movie about a robotic policeman. And then you leave and you're like, that was the greatest fucking movie I've ever seen. And I don't want to buy soda pop anymore. Like
there's that, but it's a cop in Detroit specifically.
That's true.
In a period of time where most people, if you really deep dive into their beliefs, they know that there's a problem with race in America. They know there's a problem with policing in America. And keep in mind, this is 40 years ago at this point. And watching it now, it's quite obvious that there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek in that film. But at that time, that it was a very advanced film for what was being shown, especially for mainstream audiences.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a lot of the ones I mentioned, like The Godfather. If we all grew up with The Godfather, the clones of The Godfather. That's true. That is basically what RoboCop is. Which again, subversive. But you look at The Godfather, and it's like, well, yeah, that's what a fucking gangster movie is. But at the time,
right,
that's not what a fucking gangster movie is. What the fuck is this? What's this?
So
this guy, he did the fucking Finnegan's Wake. What the fuck is he doing? Being so? What's happening?
Sivner is asking a good question about that specifically. How do you separate subversiveness from a reimagining? Because obviously, when you go into like a remake, you could expect what you saw in the original iteration, but it be different, and that doesn't necessarily make it subversive.
Well, like look at well, the problem is I don't watch a lot of these movies, or I haven't watched them in a long time. But if you look at Jurassic World, which is a requel, I guess, but
yeah,
Jurassic World does change things, not a lot, but changes things, and you know, it's a reimagining of sorts. Doesn't really, it's not subversive. I don't think anybody would say that. It doesn't have really a vision behind it. It doesn't have like a real change in goal or anything. And the same goes for the second one that I forgot the name of, where they add like a gothic horror element, and that's cool. And it is a different version of things.
Right.
I wouldn't call it subversive. That Total Recall remake does change a lot. Doesn't really have a vision behind it or any like purpose. It's just kind of different, but not in any major way. It's different for the sake of being a remake. And I think it's similar language. Like I don't really have like a set way of defining the two, but it's that you see it when it's like Pinku. You know it when you see it. And sometimes you'll have a film that seemingly should have that definition, but technically isn't. Why? You watch the fucking movie. That's, you know. I'm also just bad with words. But yeah, like The Fly is a good example of the opposite, where it is a remake that subverts the original. And I think that's actually a good point, because it's almost especially with a remake or even a sequel, like Last Jedi kind of does this. If you're holding a mirror to the original, or to the, you know, one that came before, or to the straight up like, you know, granddaddy of the bunch,
right,
and you're criticizing it or taking that and literally subverting it, you know, doing something very different that one would not expect. I think that's where it is. Like when like the Total Recall thing, you know, you certainly go in with expectations, but that's a movie that changes things almost for the sake of meeting expectations.
right.
And something like The Last Jedi or The Fly is not trying to meet those expectations. It's specifically trying to turn things on their head, to, yeah, like shine a mirror on things, to create a different perspective than what was originally given. It's something like that. You know, and some of it's hard, like Battlestar Galactica reboot, reimagining, or subversive vision. I don't know, because I never really watched the original Battlestar Galactica.
No.
I guess by virtue of it being not super fucking silly, probably a subversion, but as someone who's not really a big fan of either, I can't really say.
You can put that mindset with certain things that have been rebooted over and over and over again as well. Like with got all the Batman films. I mean, there are certain ones that I'd almost list like Batman the Animated Series as the most subversive Batman that we've had yet. When you know, all the live action ones, when Batman Begins came out, it was basically just the story of Batman with the Nolan flair. It wasn't anything that we couldn't have guessed was mostly going to be existing on paper. And then even this most recent Matt Reeves one, it's the original idea of Batman. It's more of him as a detective, which we all kind of have wanted. So I guess it's subverting expectations in the way that we never had it like this, but it's mostly just doing it properly for what the original idea of it was.
Yeah, there's a weird fine line there. That Twin Peaks one DC put up, it's a great
example.
That's a great one, because that rides the line, because it is in keeping with what Twin Peaks is, in so much as the original Twin Peaks is I wouldn't call it a satire. It's a parody. I don't even know how you would call it. It's a David Lynch version.
It's a fever dream
of the soaps at the time.
Yeah.
And that's because of when it came out. It was, you know, what, 89 when they did the pilot. And then fast forward 2016, you have The Return, and it's specifically doing like the prestige television, HBO, Showtime, that sort of thing. Also being on Showtime.
and taking a David Lynch look at those. But at the same time, people came in with their normie ass brains, and expected, oh yeah, it's going to be the same as Twin Peaks, and it's going to be the continuing adventures of Agent Cooper. He's gonna, we're going to see what happened after that cliffhanger. And then David Lynch is like, no, I think not. And he did something that is technically totally different and is vis-a-vis subversive, but at the same time is in keeping with what the series is, but it's more what the series is to him rather than the audience,
which none of us could possibly expect.
Yeah, and I think that's part, like, bringing your own personal flavor to something, not even flavor, but personal perspective, and letting that override the audience perspective or expectations is another big part of it. Because again, like, yeah, Rian Johnson always being very subversive with everything. Like, someone mentioned Brick. Brick is not what you'd expect from a high school drama or crime movie, and it's also not what you'd expect from a film noir, because it's mixing them and it's giving it that Rian Johnson flair. Knives Out, similarly, not what you'd expect from a normal murder mystery, because you find out almost immediately who the killer is. But then, of course, there's that extra twist. But then, like, I wouldn't say that Glass Onion is particularly subversive, because it basically does the same thing, just with like an added twist to it. So he's, set a mold, and then he's followed that mold with something with a slight twist, a little extra bit of whipped cream on the top. I don't know why I'm thinking of like gelatin, but like, it's tough to define, but again, you see it, you know it. And there's a lot out there. That's the thing. It's such a wide net. Like, so many movies are subversive. Most movies that we love are subversive, just by virtue of, revolutionizing something, or, like, yeah, Scream is a more or less good example. I don't think, I think it's reached past the point of really subversion. But, yeah. At very least, that initial film, extremely subversive, and it created a whole genre of films. And I think that's like kind of the purpose of subverting expectations, is to evolve in whatever direction. So anytime a director does it, or producer, writer, does it, I automatically get some respect for them. Like, even if I didn't like The Last Jedi, even if I was one of those annoying people who goes on and on about how Rian Johnson ruined their fucking childhood or whatever, pussies. Even if I didn't like it, I would still say, that's some balls on you, Ryan. I appreciate what you tried to do.
Thanks for
I guess he still failed because they went a whole different direction. But, it's about the intent. And the intent is what I love. I love these Japanese directors who are like, oh, you want me to I need to make a movie with 4 sex scenes, and one of them has to involve a dog, and one has to be a lesbian thing. Okay. But I have nothing else I have to do? That's it. That's all you need. Okay. I guess I'm going to talk about urban decay in Tokyo this week.
Right. And one of the things that you just mentioned, the success overall of it, like with Rian Johnson, that has very little to do with it, sadly. I mean, there's a lot of things that just because, it's well rated doesn't make it subversive, or doesn't make it not subversive. There's a lot of these that can be extremely successful in the film sense, where it's a well-made film, the plot makes sense, it goes completely against everything that was set before it, but people just don't like it, and that doesn't make it any less subversive.
I don't actually know exactly, because I didn't watch the movie, because I just don't care, but I read about it. Jurassic World 3, whatever, the cricketing, from my understanding, tried something subversive by making it about fucking locusts. Right? Giant locusts? Isn't that the movie? Isn't that right?
Haven't seen it.
Yeah. My understanding is it's primarily about locusts. Not really what you expect from a Jurassic Park movie.
No.
At all. That's true. I am the Lord Jesus Christ. And it was really hot up there, and my hands still ache. It's subversive in so much as it is not what you'd expect. It's trying something wholly different, but also it's fucking stupid, and no one wants that. That's again, it's it's subjective. Subversion is subjective to some degree, and the, just as much as how well done it is subversive. The quality is very subversive. I understand why people don't like The Last Jedi. I get it. But it tries. And when something really tries and goes for it, like I kind of respect the cricketing of Jurassic World. I think it's a stupid fucking idea. But there is something where I'm like, I mean, we don't need more of the same, so sure, go for it. Problem in that case, of course, is that the entire concept is you have dinosaurs all over the world now.
Right.
And it's like,
right.
well, there's your movie. You don't need to do anything else. You're good.
Exactly.
You're golden. Just do that. But good try. Good college try. If we could stop giving that man movies, that'd be great.
Dave says Jurassic World Dominion. We wanted dinosaurs. We got grasshoppers.
Eesh.
Yeah, with Subversion, there's a lot to be found, a lot to be gained, and the best thing is, in my opinion, at least with it, is just to keep challenging yourself. There's certain things that it may just simply for you, it might be subverting for you because you've never drifted into a certain area of cinema. Maybe you've never looked at any Pinku films, and now just from listening tonight, you're like, damn it, I want to watch some of this because horse cock sounds enticing, and you jump in.
By the way, there's a great book called Behind the Pink Curtain that is out of print. It was from Fab Press, and it is on Scribd. It is available if you look for it to download a PDF for free. I don't know if I'm being too vague here. Great book that you can read for no money about Pinku films. Give you a whole education. It's very, very addictive. Go read it. Watch some movies.
Yeah. Anything else about Subversion? Any favorites that you haven't given any shout out to that you want to?
Nah.
It's odd. We haven't really, other than I think one of us may have said Salo a minute ago. We haven't said anything about Pasolini. Pasolini was always subverting.
That's true. Pasolini, super subjective, Jesus Christ, subversive director, who is a major influence on, I believe, if I'm remembering right, Muscle by Hisayasu Sato, a Pink film.
And it all comes full circle. Michael, you want to share anything else coming up anytime soon, or pimp the Patreon
I'm just
anymore?
slowly trying to get my channel away from pure Blu-ray bullshit. No offense, but I've got a bunch going on. There's movies in the works, not as many, or not where I'd like them to be as far as the process, but a lot of movies in the works. And I've got a experimental secret project that only patrons are going to know about for a long time, starting soon. I'm going to actually have that drafted. I need to publish that to the Patreon. And yeah, I like making stuff, so I'm making stuff, and that's what I do. Follow my YouTube for more, I guess.
Well, those of us that have been watching for years, we appreciate it. You do great work. And I mean, recently you had a saga with YouTube specifically.
Yeah,
talking about your great comeback at all?
Yeah, I'm officially better than Severin because I actually got my YouTube channel back.
I still don't understand how they got pulled, because Andrew pulled everything out of that trailer that was even remotely nudity.
Yeah, I don't. YouTube's fucking stupid. Actually, I can't even get my money from YouTube right now. They did this weird thing where my payments are locked until I send them a picture of one of my cards that was on file, but it's a card I don't have. And I don't know what happened there, but the point is, they don't have any other option there, which is the big problem. It would be fine if they were like, we need this card to continue. Okay. If there was like but also contact customer service or try something different, that'd be fine. But it's literally just that with no explanation. And all of Google operates without customer service. And the best you can do is shout at them on Twitter, or you can post to the community which is like whenever you like look up a question about Google and it goes to like the public page. So you have to like put your thing out there to like anybody who's an expert, I guess, to answer your question, which doesn't really help if you need someone to actually fucking do something. Google sucks ass. Yeah. So, yeah, that's just they yeah, YouTube is subversive in that way. You don't expect them to just fist your asshole, but there we are, just getting fisted all day long. I love you, Brian. But yeah, I gotta go watch smut with my weird polyamorous friends. So it was nice talking to you, Brian.
Enjoy, my friend. It's been a long time. I hope it's not quite this long next time.
I'm sorry it's so hard to nail down times for me.
Well, it's not just you. I mean, I went from scheduling like 3 hours before the show to suddenly it's scheduled 2 months out. It's crazy.
You're a busy boy. You're a big time person. I'm not good at words.
A lot has changed in the last year, that's for sure. Anyways, thank you all. Like I said, next Wednesday, big Vinegar Syndrome chat with a bunch of really fun people, and then we'll be live for the Vinegar Syndrome sale on Thursday.
Ooh, oh my gosh, so soon.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share it with someone else that may appreciate this.